It takes courage to make a change. This is Graciously Gloria. Thanks for joining today. So, I want to talk a little bit about making a change from a difficult life situation. Perhaps you're stuck in a job that has been really unsatisfying and you're not being able to get ahead and you don't feel like your contributions are valued the way that they should be. Perhaps they're not treating you well or they're not paying you the way that they should. Perhaps you are in a difficult situation in a relationship that you've been in and you've tried time and time again to make it better. And no matter what you do, it takes two people to contribute to a relationship. Sometimes it does get to a point where it is time to move on. So I have gone through some different circumstances like this. And so I had been married for a very long time and tried to make it work through the years and got to the point where I honestly was just done trying and just was ready to move on. I have now remarried and in a wonderful relationship. So it's very difficult to make a choice like that, though, to end something, and you don't want to feel like you've given up easily, especially in a marriage. But you could be, for example, in a job. Let's talk about that. So I was in a job for years and I was not, wasn't able to get ahead the way I thought I would. And there wasn't opportunities that presented itself there. And I didn't feel like I was treated the way I should have been. There was a lot of micromanaging. And for me personally, I am a self-starter and I am highly intrinsically motivated to do well, even if you're paying me well or not. Now, pay me well is going to help as well, but I am just motivated to do well and I don't need a lot of hand holding. And it was like constant scrutiny, even though I was a good performer. So for me, it was a circumstance where certain things about that made me want to stay. For example, excellent health insurance, and I really did, love my coworkers. But there are certain things that you just find that perhaps this is not serving you anymore, and you have to find the courage to move on because change does take courage. We can be stuck in various circumstances, and it does take a lot of courage to make a change. But they say sometimes you aren't going to make a change until the the difficulty of making the change seems less difficult than actually staying in the circumstance, if that makes sense. So first off, just believing that you have some control over the situation, that you can make different changes. The only person that you can control is yourself. You can't really control others, but you can control how you respond to others and what action that you're going to take. So believing in yourself that you do have the ability to make a change, you do have the ability to leave a difficult circumstance. And so I recently did that with a job, and I am trying to figure out then my next career move. But in the meantime, and also hopefully for a long time, I'm going to be doing my YouTube channel and building my community here, which I'm very excited about. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. But at the same time, I'm not making any money yet on YouTube. And so it takes a lot of work and effort to build a channel. And side note, the biggest compliment you give to me is to share my channel with somebody else who may find value and interest in it. And, but anyways, and let me just talk about that I do need another job that actually pays me some money. And so figuring out what my next career move is can be scary in midlife. And sometimes you have a clear path. I'm going from here to there. And sometimes your path is to figure out what your next path will look like and what skills and abilities do you bring to the table based on your experience. I remember for years, I also was a stay-at-home mom and did some side consulting. So that was kind of challenging going back in to a career at that point and figuring out where am I at? What did I do in the past? Should I continue doing that same thing? Should I explore something different? And I decided to do something a little bit different when I went back. And so that took effort and courage, but I did it. And just believing in yourself that you have the ability to grow and change and do. Important, life is so short and that we are getting satisfaction. Now, sometimes there's a satisfaction in just doing a job and getting a paycheck. And I've definitely been in that scenario. I'm just like, you know what? They're paying me to do a job. I'm not getting a lot of satisfaction out of it, but I am getting some value out of this because I'm getting paid to do this. And just doing a good job no matter what, no matter if they're not treating you the way they should, even if they're not paying you the way you should. I was taught that way. That's the way my parents believed. It's like you should just do a good job and put your best forth effort. And so I always believe to do that. And a job worth doing is a job worth doing well. So that's just a little side note. That's just kind of a life belief of myself. But I do think that you can take pride in doing a good job. But at the same time, you don't always have to stay in that job. At some point, you want to leave it if you feel like you are not getting the autonomy that you need, you're not getting the respect or the recognition that you need. Recognition, maybe verbally, maybe financially, what be it. And so sometimes it's time to move on. And as far as like a relationship, wanted to say, again, because life is short, it's important to give love, but it's also really important to receive love as well and feel like you're a part of a team with somebody, feel like you're cared for, and knowing that you have value. And so I, hope that you are in those great circumstances and you might be single and that you're having a relationship with yourself and you always have a relationship with yourself through your whole life. So be a good friend and a good person to yourself and show yourself love and care just as you do the others in your life. So this video really just wanted to kind of encourage you if you're having a difficult situation that you can rise above it. And you can check out my video. I did a whole separate video on encouraging yourself during challenging times, but just wanted to share a little bit about what's happening with my situation right now and that, mine was a particular job situation. Again, years ago, it was a different situation, a relationship situation, but reminded myself that I have the courage and ability to make a different life change for myself and forge ahead. And just that life is so full of so many possibilities and so many wonderful things, even in a challenging time, even, in a difficult circumstance, that just wishing you all the best, truly. And I would love if you would subscribe and share my channel with others. And you will have a fabulous day. And remember that you are valued, you are worthy of all good things. Have a great day.